Welcome to Scone Baking Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. If you love Reese's peanut butter cups, you're going to love my peanut butter filled chocolate scones. Yes, these chocolate scones are filled with a yummy peanut butter filling. And then I didn't stop there. I've also topped them with a wonderful chocolate glaze, and then I added some chopped peanuts and chopped Reese's Pieces. So let me show you how easy they are to make. So let's bake. So we're going to get started first on our peanut butter filling. So I have here 1 cup of creamy peanut butter, and I like using creamy peanut butter, but if you like crunchy peanut butter, you can use that instead. And I'm going to add to that 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Put that in my mixer. We're going to put this on medium speed and mix it up until it's nice, light, and fluffy. Okay, it's nice, light, and fluffy. So now I'm going to add 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. Let me open this up and drop that in. There we go. And 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to start this on low until that powdered sugar is mixed in, and then I'm going to put it on medium-high speed until it's light and fluffy. Okay. Our peanut butter mixture is all light and fluffy. So I'll get it off the batter. So I'll get it off the beater here. There we go. All right, so there we have it. It's all nice, light, and fluffy. Now what I'm going to do is I've learned that if I just put this in the middle of the scone the way it is, my peanut butter filling kept on coming out dry. So I found out if I scoop it and put it up in the freezer for 30 minutes, then the peanut butter wouldn't dry out and it would stay really creamy inside that scone. So I have here a number 100 disher. It's a cookie scooper or ice cream scooper. Of course, that's way too small of an ice cream scooper for me, but that's a scooper. It's about 1 1/4 inch in diameter, or about 2 teaspoons worth. So I'm going to scoop out 12 little dollops on my pan here. There we are. And now the last one here. I did line my pan with some wax paper. So there's my 12 little dollops of the creamy peanut butter filling, and I'm going to put this up in the freezer for about 30 minutes. So while our filling is in the freezer, it's time to get started on the scones. The first thing I want to do is take 1/2 cup of butter. This is 8 tablespoons of cold butter, and I'm going to grate it. And the reason why I grate it is because I want this butter to stay cold as long as it can, because what happens before the butter melts, it's going to create steams, and it creates these wonderful layers in your scones and makes your scones a lot lighter in texture. So we're going to grate the butter. There we are. The butter is all grated. I've handled this butter and it's starting to come up to room temperature. So what I want to do is get this butter up in the freezer to keep it cold for as long as I can. Since these are chocolate scones, it's time to get the chocolate part of our scones going. So while our butter's in the freezer and the peanut butter filling is in the freezer, let's get our chocolate together. So I have here 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. I'm just breaking it up. I'm going to put this in the microwave and melt it. And about every 30 seconds, I'm going to give it a good stir. It takes about 1 minute and 30 seconds to get it totally melted and smooth. Okay, it's been 1.5 minutes, and it looks nice and creamy. It's all melted. That looks great. So that's 4 ounces of bittersweet chocolate that I melted in the microwave, and I stirred it every 30 seconds. And it takes about 1.5 minutes. So now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of espresso powder. Now, this espresso powder, all it's going to do is help pop that chocolate flavor. It's not going to give it a coffee flavor at all. It's just going to help pop the chocolate flavor. So I'm going to get that totally stirred in. And now we're going to add a little different dimension of chocolate to this. I have 2 tablespoons of chocolate syrup. And that just adds another dimension of chocolate to these chocolate scones. This is really a triple chocolate scone when I get done with it. So we're going to stir that in until it's totally combined. And now we're going to add 1 cup of cold buttermilk. We're going to whisk this together until it's totally combined and it looks like chocolate buttermilk. Okay, there we have our chocolate buttermilk. This needs to cool back down because we did warm up that chocolate. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator until it's time to add it to our dry ingredients. So while our butter's in the freezer, our peanut butter filling is in the freezer, our chocolate buttermilk is in the refrigerator chilling, it's time to get our dry ingredients together. So I have here 1 1/4 cups of unbleached flour. I have 1/2 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. Now I like adding whole wheat flour to all my baked goods, but I use whole wheat pastry flour because it has a lighter texture. So this is 1/2 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. I have 1/2 cup of sugar. And because these are chocolate scones, I have 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. There we go. I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Come on out. There we go. They like to stay in those bowls sometime. And 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to whisk that together till it's totally combined. Okay, there we go. So now it's time to add our frozen butter. So now we have our frozen butter, which we're going to add in there. And because I grated it, I don't have to cut it in or try to break it up into smaller pieces. The grated butter is just the right size for our scones because it's going to create this wonderful steam and these wonderful layers. Before it melts, the butter will create steam and create wonderful layers in your scones and help keep your scones lighter in texture. So all I have to do is just stir this butter into our dry ingredients until all the butter is coated with the dry ingredients. This way the butter stays colder longer. So now it's time to add our chocolate buttermilk. Put that over there. And get that all poured in. There we go. So I'm going to mix this together until it's totally combined and comes together in a ball. And just kind of dump this out onto our board. Oh, there we go. I don't want to over mix this. I just want to get it together. And there's still a little bit of dry ingredients at the bottom, so I just want to try and pick those up. But there's always going to be a little bit at the bottom, and that's okay. You're just going to leave them down there. There we go. That looks good. So we're going to roll this out into a 12-inch by 12-inch square. We're going to take a little method from croissant making. We've done a little scone making, and now we're going to take a little method from croissant making and going to roll this out into a 12-inch by 12-inch square. There we go. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, that's a little more than 12 inches. A little more than 12 inches. That's perfect. So it doesn't have to be exactly 12 inches by 12 inches because what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in thirds that direction and then fold in thirds over itself. And now we're going to fold in thirds the other direction and then over itself so you have a nice little square package. I take my little board here, put some flour on it. Now I've handled this dough a little bit. That butter's starting to warm up. Again, I want to keep that butter as cold as I can for as long as I can. So I'm going to put this up in the freezer for about 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. We have chilled down our dough here. I'm going to get some flour, put it on our board here. I've also taken out our dollops of peanut butter and getting them ready to put inside our scones. So what I want to do now is I just want to roll this out into about 1/4 inch thick. There we go. That's about 1/4 inch thick, and you can sit here and measure it. Yep, that's 1/4 inch thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3-inch rounds. And our last one. And I usually always have just a little bit left over, and that's okay. So we're going to scoot all these down, move that off to the side. So now it's time to put that yummy peanut butter filling inside. So get all those scooted down. So I have here peanut butter dollops that we put up in the freezer for 30 minutes, so they're still a bit frozen. And I'm going to put a dollop on each one of these. Okay, so now we're going to put the top on. Just kind of squish down the peanut butter part. And you just want to pinch this together. And then you have this wonderful peanut butter surprise in there that people are not expecting, to actually have peanut butter inside their chocolate scone. And now we're going to put that on our baking sheet. I have a parchment lined baking sheet that I'm going to put each one on. So I put that on, kind of squish down that peanut butter a little bit, and then seal it up. Okay, here goes the last one. And we want to pinch it and seal it closed, so the peanut butter stays inside the middle there. And sometimes I need just a little bit of flour on my fingers because the dough's a little tacky. So there we go. There's the last one. Oh, those are going to be so good. Chocolatey, peanut butter. So now I have 1 egg that I've beaten, and I'm going to just give it a little egg wash. And here's the last one. There we go. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to cook these for 13 to 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 14 minutes. Our scones are done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the scones in the parchment paper right off the baking sheet, because I don't want these scones to cook any more than they already have. So when you're baking chocolate scones, you want to make sure that you err on the side of slightly under baking them than rather over baking them. So I'm going to let them sit here and cool completely. So while the scones are cooling, it's time to get our chocolate glaze together. So I have here a double boiler, and so I have a little water in the bottom, and I'm going to bring that just up to a little simmer to heat up the bowl here. You can also just use a regular pot with a little bit of water and a glass stovetop proof bowl. So you can use it that way, or I have a double boiler here. So what I'm going to add is 2 ounces of milk chocolate that I've broken up, 1 tablespoon of corn syrup. And to get that corn syrup out of that container or out of your measuring spoon, spray it with a little bit of Pam, and then it'll just come right out. And then 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. We're going to stir this until it's nice and shiny and glossy and totally melted. Okay, it's totally melted. It's nice, shiny, and glossy. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the heat, remove that, and be very careful because there is steam under there. We're going to take this and put on a hot pad. We're going to let this sit here and cool down for about 5 minutes. Okay, our scones have cooled completely. Our chocolate glaze has cooled down a bit. And also, we're going to have to top it with a little bit of chopped up Reese's Pieces. And I have 1/4 cup of Reese's Pieces and 1/4 cup of chopped up peanuts. And I'm just going to mix those up. And those are going to go on top also. That way everyone will know they're peanut butter Reese's scones. There we go. So we're going to take our chocolate glaze and we're just going to put some on every single one of these. Oh, this is going to be so good. Oh, we got chocolate in the scone, chocolate on top, and now it's time to add our peanuts and our Reese's Pieces. So we're just going to put those on. And after I put them on, I just kind of give them a little squish down so that they stay on. Okay, they're all done. So it's time to try one. So I'm going to cut this one open. That chocolate glaze is still warm on top. Oh, you can see the peanut butter on the inside. Scone is nice and soft. We have the chocolate glaze on the outside, the chopped up peanuts and Reese's Pieces. If you love Reese's peanut butter cups, you're going to love these. So I got to have a bite here. That peanut butter on the inside is nice and soft. The scone is nice and soft also. Get the chocolate scone, the chocolate glaze, and then the crunchy bit on top. This is so good, and that creamy peanut butter on the inside. This is so good. Again, if you love Reese's peanut butter cups, you're going to love these scones. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for future videos. Thank you very much for watching. We'll have some more. This is good.